Hi guys. So I figured I'd come on with Miss Madison here, because it's hot and I'm hanging out in my bedroom uh, in the AC because not my whole apartment is air conditioned, so just my bedroom. So I came in and was on YouTube watching some videos, and I changed Miss Madison here into this super cute. It's a sundress. It's dark blue with red strawberries with green leaves on it. And she has little ruffled socks with this little red bow headband. So, um, Madison wanted me to read her a story. So I figured, well, that's a good idea because it's so hot. And Maddie has her little favorite unicorn friend here. Yeah, look at the people. Huh? Say hi, guys. Say, Mom's going to read me a story. Yeah. So I hope you guys grab your popcorn and your favorite snack and a drink because I think the book Maddie wanted to read is a little long, uh, but it's an old book. And I used to play with these toys when I was growing up. Uh, the name of the book is The Adventures of Strawberry Shortcake and Her Friends. So, um, we're going to get started. And I picked this book up at a thrift store, and I just noticed before I came on that it says on the inside over here, Easter 1982. It says to Jennifer with love, Grandma and Grandpa. Cool, huh? So that's interesting. So, okay, I think this is going to be a long book, but that's okay because we've got nothing better to do, right? At least I don't anyway. Uh, so I'll show you guys the pictures as I finish reading the story. Okay, it says it was a beautiful summer day in the berry patch at the edge of the woods. The Strawberry Land kids were looking over their crops, and they were all very happy with what they had grown. Said Strawberry Shortcake, who was standing next to one of her juicy ripe berries. These berries are almost as big as I am. I will have to get Huckleberry Pie to help me pick them and get them to my house. I'll make more jams and jellies ever than I ever did before. There will be lots to sell at the market. Not far away, Raspberry Tot was sitting beside the raspberry bush where she could usually be found. She was feeling very pleased with herself. Just look at all those ruby red berries, she said. Nobody but me, queen of the raspberry bush, could raise such wonderful raspberries. My friends will be very jealous of the jams I'm going to make this year. That's the pictures. I think this kid has a big head. I mean, the girl in the book. Under the blueberry bush, Blueberry Muffin was washing her apron in the big chipped white cup with the blue stripes around it. Her aprons always seemed to get stained with blueberry juice so fast. The blueberries really looked good this year. Blueberry said to Apple Dumpling, I must start making some jelly as soon as I find the recipe. Then we will have such delicious jelly to share with our friends, won't we, Dumpling? Apple Dumpling was the baby of the group and lived in the hollow of the crabapple tree. She smiled at Blueberry and then curled up to take a nap on the bed of moss that Blueberry had fixed for her under the toadstool. Now, here's the picture. All the Strawberry Land kids were looking over their crops. Everyone, that is, except Huckleberry Pie and Plum Pudding. They were sitting together at the edge of the stream that bubbled by the berry patch. Did you know, said Plum Pudding, while writing in his notebook, that I have found 10 ways to make my plum crop bigger and better? My plums are growing so big and fat that I will need all of my friends to help me harvest them. We will have more than we need for the whole winter. Hmm, isn't that interesting? Mumbled Huckleberry Pie. All that he cared about was taking naps along the riverbank. You should try growing huckleberries like I do, he said. All you have to do is hope for rain. The bushes grow by themselves. At that very moment, as the kids were admiring their fruit and making big plans, two berry birds had their own big plans for the crops. Hi, oops. I forgot to show you guys the picture. There we go. Okay. High over the fields and through the woods, Buster and Blackie were circling around. They were always looking for the juiciest berry patch. I know where to get the best berries around here for miles, bragged Buster. I've been keeping my eye on them, and the way I figure it, they should be just right for eating today. You always were good at knowing the best places to eat, said Blackie. You're going to keep it a secret. Nah, there's plenty for both of us, said Buster. Just follow me. Bluff, Buster and Blackie flew lower and lower, right down to the edge of the forest where the berry patches were. Look at those large strawberries, said Buster, as he swooped down on the patch and landed on the biggest strawberry plant. And look at those raspberries and blueberries, said Blackie, as he began eating the berries. Eek! Yelled Strawberry Shortcake, dropping her hoe and running behind a large strawberry. My beautiful berries, yelled Raspberry Tot, who was now hanging on a branch of her bush. She was really getting tossed and shaken by the birds. Get away, you nasty birds, shouted Blueberry Muffin, grabbing Apple Dumpling and running behind the cup. That's pictures. This is going to be a long story, guys. Next time I won't pick such a long story. Okay. The birds pecked and clawed and stabbed at the berries until they were so full they could hardly fit themselves to fly away. Thanks for the grub, shouted Buster as the two birds flew away. We'll be back for more tomorrow. Ha ha ha. Is everyone all right? Yelled Plum Pudding as he and Huckleberry Pie ran to see what had happened. Just look at what those nasty berry birds did to our crops, said Strawberry Shortcake. What a mess, said Huckleberry Pie. Those nasty birds ate half of my raspberries, not to mention what they did to my hair, said Raspberry Tot. Dumpling and I have never been so scared, said Blueberry Muffin. And the birds said they'd be back tomorrow. We'd better hide next time, said Huckleberry Pie. When they're through with the berries, they might come after us. We should find a safer place, said Blueberry Muffin. Dumpling was holding on to her apron. Pictures. You like the story, Maddie, huh? Okay. Huckleberry Pie nodded his head and said, We can't stay here and be safe. We'll have to find another place to grow our crops, said Plum Pudding. No, we won't, said Strawberry Shortcake, jumping up on a giant mushroom. If we run away from the berry birds, we will always be running away from something. We have to all work hard on our crops, and we have a right to enjoy them. Let's not let those birds bully us. Let's work together and fight them. What do you say? The kids were quiet for a moment and thought about this. Strawberry is right, said Blueberry Muffin. We must find a way to scare the birds away. But how? They thought and thought, but no one had any ideas. The pictures. Oh, come on, I'm having a hard time turning the page. Okay. Then Strawberry Shortcake snapped her fingers. What's the scariest thing we know? She asked. The big black cat who lived in the farmhouse across the field, said Raspberry Tot. Everyone nodded. They all feared the cat more than anything, even berry birds. But how do we get the cat to help us? Asked Blueberry Muffin. We don't, said Strawberry Shortcake. We'll make a pretend cat instead. I have a plan, but everyone has to do exactly what I say. Why should we do what you say? Said Raspberry Tot. Do you want the berry birds to come back and steal the rest of your berries and mess up your hair again? Said Strawberry Shortcake. Raspberry Tot fingered her curls. Well, no, she said. Strawberry Shortcake made a quick sketch in Plum Pudding's notebook and then said everyone must find these things. Blueberry, 2 buttons, huckleberry, a black ribbon, raspberry, some string. Plum Pudding and I will try to find some black cloth. When we have found everything, we will meet here. Don't waste any time. We must work fast. We'll trust you, Strawberry, said Blueberry Muffin. You have good ideas. Then let's go, shouted Strawberry Shortcake as she jumped down from the mushroom and led the kids across the field in the direction of the farm. What a cute book, huh? You like this book, Maddie? At the edge of the farm by the old wood fence, the kids split up. Down at the far end of the barn, the fence ran around the pig pen. Strawberry Shortcake and Plum Pudding had spotted a black rag hanging from the fence rail over there. They crept up to the pig pen. At the fence, right where the rag was hanging, old Willie, the biggest, fattest, meanest pig on the farm, was poking around in the dirt. We'll have to wait for him to move, whispered Plum Pudding. We can't wait, said Strawberry Shortcake. We have to act fast. While old Willie was grunting and poking and thoroughly enjoying himself, Plum Pudding and Strawberry Shortcake scurried around the fence post. That's the pictures. Then Strawberry Shortcake climbed onto Plum Pudding's shoulders and tugged at the rag. It's stuck, she whispered. Pull harder, said Plum Pudding. Just then, old Willie threw his Old Willie thought he heard something. He stopped grunting and poking and made the meanest pig face you ever saw. He was looking right at the rat. By this time, Strawberry Shortcake had managed to tug the rag free, and it had fallen right on top of them. They ran away across the field with it over them. Old Willie watched the strange sight, then flopped down in a quiet corner of the pen and decided that he needed a long rest. At the farmhouse, Blueberry Muffin crept from room to room, looking for the sewing basket that belonged to the farmer's wife. She went through the mouse hole tunnels so she wouldn't be seen. Blueberry Muffin knew she couldn't find the two buttons she needed in the sewing basket, but where was it? She searched the living room and dining room and finally found it upstairs in the bedroom. She climbed inside the basket. There she found just what she was looking for, this red and white striped button. It's nice, she said. It reminds me of peppermint candy. And I'll borrow the yellow one here. It looks like a lemon drop. She threw them out of the basket and then hopped out herself. She carried the button on her head and ran for the nearest mouse hole. Oh, excuse me. Um, Alyssa's reborn. What do you mean? What is this? It's what it says in the story title. It's a role play video with reborns. I kind of don't understand what you mean by what is this. Um, if you don't know who I am, then why? I don't know. I'm just confused. Okay, whatever. Um, Now I lost my place. Oh, okay, I read that. Um, that's the pictures. I mean, I just want to remind um, people who watch the video, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Um, the title is kind of self-explanatory. So if you don't like stuff like this, don't watch. Plain and simple. Um, okay. It was very dark in the mouse hole, and Blueberry Muffin had a hard time finding her way. Just as she was rounding the corner, she saw a pair of eyes staring at her out of the darkness. Eek! She cried, dropping her buttons. Don't hurt me, cried the little voice. I won't hurt you, said Blueberry Muffin. Don't you hurt me. Who are you, anyway? I'm Amelia Mouse, said the timid voice. Don't be afraid, Amelia, said Blueberry Muffin, patting Amelia's paw. Thank you, you're very kind, said Amelia. Can you help me get out of here? I think I'm lost, said Blueberry Muffin. Oh, just hop on my back and hold tight, said Amelia. Blueberry Muffin picked up the buttons and climbed on Amelia. Not only did she get a ride home, but she had made a friend, too. The pictures. Huckleberry Pie thought that was the most likely place for him to find a scrap of ribbon would be in the large trash barrel the farmer kept in the back of the porch of the house. He climbed the steps and jumped feet first into the barrel. I wish I could have stayed back at the stream, he said to himself. He rummaged all around the large barrel and finally found a piece of ribbon. It's red and green, he mumbled, but it will just have to do. He wound the ribbon around the waist, climbed out of the barrel, and headed for home. The last one to find what she was looking for was Raspberry Tot. She searched in the shed and by the chicken coop and the big pig trough. Strawberry mustang stringing grows on trees. Raspberry Tot mumbled to himself. I've looked everywhere but the barn. I might as well look there too. It's the only place left. She crept quietly around the corner of the barn until she saw a large space between the boards. Then she slipped inside. Where do I start looking? She thought. She looked by the bales of hay in the corner and alongside the horse stalls. Finally, she came to some grain sacks. She rounded the corner of the big sack, slumped against the others, and there she found what she was looking for. String, she said, and clapped her hands. Jeez, this is a long book. Um, she started rolling the string into a ball. She was working so hard and was trying to loop it so carefully that she did not look up at all. Suddenly, as she came around the corner of the sack, she felt very strange. She looked up, and there were two huge, fierce yellow eyes looking right at her. It was the horrible black cat, and she was smacking her lips. Eek! Shrieked Raspberry Tot as she grabbed the string and ran behind some grain sacks. Just in time, too, because the cat's big, big black paw with its sharp claws fell right where she had been standing only a moment before. She snuck through the grain sacks and found the space between the boards where she had crawled into the barn. Next time, Strawberry Shortcake can look for her own string, said Raspberry Tot as she hurried toward the berry patch. I should have brought a drink. My throat. Raspberry Tot was the last to come back. The others had already gathered by the giant mushroom. Strawberry Shortcake was busy making lists and drawing sketches with Plum Pudding's help. Everyone else eagerly waited to hear what was going to happen next. First, said Strawberry Shortcake, pointing to a drawing, we have to make a skeleton like this. We'll use sticks and we'll tie them together with all that strong string that Raspberry found. We have to work fast because we have to be finished with everything by tomorrow. The kids gathered the sticks as they needed and stacked them in the berry cart. Finally, Strawberry Shortcake said, okay, that's enough. Let's take them over there to the oak tree. Everyone helped pull and push the cart to the oak tree at the edge of the woods where the berry patch was.
Hi, Jasper.
My dog. Then they lifted the sticks and tied them into something that looked like a simple skeleton, just like a sketch Strawberry Shortcake had drawn in the notebook. This will never work, said Raspberry Tot. Of course it will, said Blueberry Muffin. All you have to do is have a little faith. What's next, Strawberry? We have to do some sewing on the rag. We will need the posts that hold up your clothesline, Blueberry, said Strawberry Shortcake. Blueberry's clothesline posts were really large sewing needles that Blueberry and Strawberry had found. The line itself was sewing thread. The kids worked so hard that they almost didn't notice it was getting dark. Oh dear, what will we do? said Blueberry Muffin when she began to have trouble seeing. Soon will we have no light to work by. I think next time I'm going to pick a shorter story and bring a drink. Ugh. Leave it to me, said Strawberry Shortcake. Then she spoke to the fireflies, who agreed to stand by and give them light. The kids worked all night. First, they sewed the buttons on the rag to look like eyes. Then they sewed a piece of string to look like whiskers. Then they tied the ribbon around their pretend cat's neck. It was all very hard work because they were all so small and their cat was so big. Finally, Strawberry Shortcake said, I think we were finished now. They all stepped back to look at their work. Raspberry Tot, who had fallen asleep, woke up. Eek, she screamed. It looks just like the black cat at the farm. She was remembering her close call. It does look real, said Blueberry Muffin. Strawberry Shortcake nodded. If that doesn't scare those nasty berry birds away, nothing will. Just then, she saw Buster and Blackie circling overhead, getting ready to swoop down on the berry patches for their breakfast. Hurry, shouted Strawberry Shortcake. She put Apple Dumpling in the head part because she could screech like a cat. The rest of them got underneath the cat and held up the skeleton made of sticks. It was really dark in here, said Raspberry Tot. I hope we know where we're going. Whoosh came the birds, pecking and gobbling up the berries. Forward, whispered Strawberry Shortcake. They moved behind the oak tree to where the birds could see them in full view. Screech, Dumpling, whispered Strawberry Shortcake. Wah, screamed Dumpling. The trick worked. The birds somersaulted out of the berry bushes in a flurry. A cat, shouted Blackie. Let's get out of this place, yelled Buster. The kids peeked out and saw the birds were really scared of them. They were so happy. Let's move forward a little bit, said Dumpling, and they did. The birds flew straight up into the sky, squawking all the way. I ain't coming back here, cried Buster. Me neither, Blackie. The kids came out of hiding and laughing and laughing. I guess we showed those nasty birds who's boss around here, said Strawberry Shortcake. Thanks to you and Plum Pudding, said Blueberry Muffin. Now I can get back to the stream, said Huckleberry Pie, dusting himself off, and I can fix my curls. They're such a mess, said Raspberry Tot as she was patting her hair. Wait, everybody, will you help me clean up the berry patch first, asked Strawberry Shortcake. They totally agreed, and when they were finished, Strawberry Shortcake gave a big party to celebrate. Oh, that's the end. Finally, that was a long book. Next time I'm picking a shorter book. So, but I think Maddie enjoyed it, huh, Maddie? Okay, you want to say bye to everybody? I think we took up enough time. 34 minutes. Yeah, that's long enough. um, I'd like to do a park outing with Maddie, but I don't know when because it's really hot where I live right now, and I don't want to take Maddie out in So, um, so we'll say goodbye for now. Okay. Say bye. Say see you, everybody. Have a good day, everyone. Bye.